Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrots. We're going to do an update on general markets before the market opens, look at pre-market prices, covering the dollar index, gold, VIX, NASDAQ, S&P, and a few major stocks as well. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell to get notified every time I put out one of these videos. The Parrot Army has been doing an amazing job at giving likes and writing down comments in every single video. That's definitely starting to show off. Thanks so much guys, and let's continue to get this channel to get 10,000 views per video. People celebrate when someone says that Bitcoin is gonna reach $1 million by the end of this year, but the same people get absolutely shocked when I say 10,000 views in a video. I'm gonna stick around with the people that actually share my vision and my dream. I think we're gonna get there. Right, let's go with the DXY, dollar index that has been bleeding, but in my opinion, very soon we're gonna reach this long-term support trend line that we visit in 2021 and also in 2011. Going backwards, if you notice, there is a pinch in here in 1985 connected with this level. That's how we managed to find the local top around 110. So why not looking for the equivalent symmetrical scenario? Imagine if we reach around 95, 96 on dollar index, and then suddenly we start shooting back up, starting to range within this squeeze where we are. After all, in this time in the cycle in 2020, dollar index was coming down and meeting with the same trend line, eventually with a move down of around 13%. From the lows of hitting this trend line ascending is where we started seeing the dollar rallying into 114, and during that rally is where we entered the bear market. So maybe, just maybe, it's not gonna be exactly the same, but after seeing the dollar correcting already from the highs around 12%, it doesn't really make me feel that uncomfortable to think that maybe somewhere around here there's gonna be a rally coming back with the dollar. And if we want to be prepared for that, we need to focus on the breakout that we are already experiencing. The breakout put the RSI into 38, and after that there's been a little bit of a decline. Very disappointing as a breakout, but the thing that is still in place is that we haven't taken the lows of 29 that we defended twice, once on August 2024, second time on the 14th of April, and nowadays we are a little bit above that. We could say there's still not an event with dollar index below that, so that is what is currently holding the hopium for a rally into resistance. I wouldn't bet on that necessarily. I'm kind of inclined to think now that if we have a rally, we could get maybe into $100. After all, right there is the global resistance, maybe build a higher low or something like that, and then the breakout later this year. For a V recovery from all of this, well, actually we need to get into the global resistance and start shooting back up. Remember that timing, that reversal to the upside could be the actual beginning of the bear market. Looking at 2021, you can see that eventually we built a double bottom from around 89 and we did a rally of 28% up. Those rally ups are supposed to hurt. Well, and they did hurt Bitcoin at least that time, so we are not crazy in thinking that a rally in dollar here could also hurt not just Bitcoin but also other risk on assets. Let's have a look at gold. And with gold, I've been a little bit kind of lost my way with gold. Let me summarize where we are. We had a breakdown in here, and from that point we say, well, we are in a channel down, we are supposed to meet with the 21 weekly, but instead of that we found support at 3.1 and we put a new high. Thanks to that new high, we were thinking that maybe thanks to the double bottom form in here in the internal breakout that we were gonna have a rally into revenge area, which is around 83, and that we were gonna potentially put prices of 3-4k around this area in here. But we completely fake out in this area. The breakout got sold off for 2 consecutive weeks, putting new lows at an RSI of 60. That is a new low, and it pinches precisely the trend line in here, interestingly. But we're gonna have to move this trend line and place it against this pivot now. So there's something I wouldn't do at this point, which is necessarily to short the price from 3.2, because from these lows we could go back into the resistance of 64 or break above the 65. That is a critical line in the momentum, historically speaking, from around November 2024. That will look something like this. At that point, a short with risk management will look a lot better for continuation. Of course, if this is the area that we do the breakout, then you need to manage your risk, because at that point we could very bullish. But notice this, we already did something like that. We broke out there and we faked out. So in my opinion, a short from 65 RSI weekly will be interesting. But again, you have to use risk management, because if we manage to cross this strong resistance that we have there, we could rally all the way to 87 and fulfill what we couldn't do with the previous attempt to break out bullish. VIX broke down the support long term. This support is alive since December 2023, and this is the first time that we pinch below it. Now it's pointing up. If we reclaim, we could still have my bearish scenario where the VIX rallies into a market expansion. If we confirm this by seeing rejection in here and further continuation to the downside, we're gonna see the NASDAQ and the S&P to continue the rally. I think it's as simple as that. Let's look at pre-market prices on the NASDAQ. We can see a new weekly candle putting green. That is definitely positive as long as we can hold that momentum for Bitcoin to go into that 109 to 115 to liquidate the shorts. Is there a possibility of a fake out of this weekly breakout? Well, you shouldn't be asking that. Any breakout has the option to fake out. So this one is not because it's pointing up intra-candle, it cannot point down intra-candle too, and then end up closing even lower than the past weeks, and then turn all of this into an ugly double top. Anything is possible, and it's up to you whether you wanna manage your risk or you prefer to lose all your assets. S&P intra-candle is looking like a positive market open. We close at 614.15, we could say, and now we are 2 points up at 617. And S&P and NASDAQ are now following through with what the Russell and Nikkei has done a while ago. You can see that there was a successful retest, so hopefully S&P can do something similar and come back here to test 55 and then carry on to the upside. Let's now have a very quick look at different stocks to see if the big 7 is opening in the green pre-market price. Google is the case with 2 points up, Apple as well, Nvidia too. Pretty much every single stock is in the green as we speak. Tesla is having a little bit of trouble with 3 points or 2 points below the candle close from Friday. Palantir as well. What's going on with Palantir? We reclaimed support and now we are losing it again. I don't like seeing this kind of move, but well, pre-market price is actually positive. It's 137, so hopefully that's gonna get bought up at support and carry on into global resistance at 72. Microsoft is about to cross $500, which is really impressive. That will mark history if we can do that. Meta is about to reclaim the support. Hopefully this week it completes the job. At that point we're gonna possibly see an invalidation of the double top. Pre-market is 748. I've been reading the news and it says that in general markets retail is actually buying the new all-time high, and I'm seriously worried that retail is not gonna get wrecked with this new all-time high and that we are actually due for a V recovery that lasts and it doesn't turn into a slightly higher high, bearish divergence, and then a disaster. After all, on the monthly on the NASDAQ and the S&P we have a very ugly monthly bearish divergence. You can see that on the monthly we have rallied all the way in here and we are already in the territory of breaking down on the S&P and on the NASDAQ. I haven't done monthly in a long time and I'm really shocked to see that we broke down so ugly and we are just doing a revenge rally on the NASDAQ. So watch out for that, because of course this is just a stupid guy on the internet and this is just the stupid RSI which no one gives a damn. But if that rejection that we are already hitting on the S&P was to push us down, a monthly drawdown could be really significant. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.